Okay, so this will be the my first video of a tarot reading, at least um, for the public. I am not a professional by any means, but I feel drawn to do this. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I'll get experience this way. So, being a newbie, I don't know quite how to go about this. So, I've just basically, this will be a reading for whoever needs it. If you happen to come across this video, a friend sees it, tells you about it, you feel drawn to look for a video, and you just happen to come across this one, then maybe it's for you. It's not going to be a zodiac sign reading. It's not going to be specifically a love reading, a money reading, or anything like that. It's just going to be a basic, general reading. If those things come up, they come up. I will be, as I am a devotee of Santissima Muerte, this reading will be in connection with her spirit guides and so on. I don't know how long this video will be, but please of Santa Muerte. What do they need to know in the coming near future? What do they need to know now? What is hidden from them? All that which they need to be aware of in this moment. I know I've heard things about you should only shuffle a certain way, you shouldn't shuffle this way, shuffle that way. Typically, this is how I do it. If you keep, for me, if you keep, this isn't going. Okay, well, let's do it one more time. If you keep having trouble shuffling like this, then okay. It usually means don't shuffle. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Kind of almost like you do something for the first time and then something really embarrassing happens. Okay, what do they need to know? What do they need to see? What do they need to know? Something new to Okay. I'm not reading in reverse. I'm just simply placing these in the reverse fashion. Well, to me, they're reversed. To you, they're upright. Trying to get this to where it shows up good on the camera. I don't know why. It seems like I see these videos on YouTube and they got like set up perfectly. I try and do it from the side because I've seen some people do it where they apparently have a camera off to the side, and it's just not working out for me. So I'm having to do it this way, which is just in front of me, as you can tell. I'm right here. Um, okay, so let me turn these around for the moment. You got the star here, got the two of cups, and the seven of pentacles. Now, like I said, I'm still learning. I I'm kind of in between reading intuitively and reading by the book. So, the star card, so what you need to know. Okay, the star card, for me, especially here recently, it has meant having faith, spirituality, but I'm feeling spirit guides at the moment, to be honest. So I imagine like who if you're in need of finding this particular video for whatever reason, you're searching for an answer, or you're just starting on a path, or you need to find an answer, you don't know where to start. And just start with, maybe you need to either begin looking into working with ancestor spirits, spirit guides, maybe a particular spirit or deity. Like when I just said that and thought about it, I thought Isis or Ishtar. Not sure why. Maybe that means something to one of you. One of the curious things though about this card is, as you can see, she is like got one foot here and well, pouring. She's pouring water into the lake and onto the ground, which makes me think of the Temperance card. And this would imply duality, I'd imagine. Being both fluid but also grounded. Like, wish upon a star. You know, don't, maybe don't give into, like, before you put all your eggs in a basket, which I know people probably say you should probably never put all your eggs in a basket, no matter what, no matter how sure you are. But before doing something like that, get advice, get guidance, whether if it be from a spiritual source, a spiritual advisor, like an actual human or actual person, I should say, Um, maybe and have faith. Maybe say you're going through something. I know what that's like, and you desperately need faith. And what you might not realize, what people don't realize is that when somebody tells you to have faith, they're not telling you. I mean, maybe in some cases they are, but here, when I say have faith, I'm not telling you you gotta be religious, you gotta be a Christian or anything like that. If you are a Christian, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay. If you're religious, perfectly okay. If you're not religious, perfectly okay. But having faith is about having faith. Well, for one, having faith that everything will work out, having faith in a particular God or goddess or spirit, faith in your ancestors, faith in yourself, even. And I'm noticing something here recently interesting. Um, I just started looking at Eliphas Levi's Transcendental Magic again after years. And there's this, I don't remember what page or chapter, but there's this image of the Tetragrammaton that has these like pomegranates on each of the letters. You know, kind of like when you're in, I don't know if it's like first grade, second grade, or what, or before that, before primary school starts, I guess. But you know, like how you're learning to write or numbers. You got like a five, you got like one, two, three, four, five throughout the um, throughout each of the number. Like the numbers are five, so it has 5 points. One has 1 point, like I think directly in the middle, and two has 2 points, three has 3 points, so on. It's kind of like that, and I'm noticing that these star alignments are very similar. You might not get what I'm talking about, but the this deck, the Rider Waite Tarot deck, know that a lot of it was used, as far as I know, in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Eliphas Levi was one of the, I want to say he was one of the founders or one of the, I want to say chiefs, but I'm not, when I say that, I don't mean the secret chiefs. I just mean he was up there with Greg Matt, or Matt Greger, or Samuel Liddell Matt Greger Matters. That name is probably off by a little bit, but and I can't really think of the other names at the moment, but um, well, in this, the Tetragrammaton is made up of the four Hebrew letters: Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, and in one of the middle letters, it's either the Hey or the Vav. I think it's a Vav that like here there's it has the pomegranates in it. If you ever seen a pomegranate, it has that little tip to it, um, called a calyx. It's also known as a crown, or at least in like more from a theological or occult point of view. I think more so theological. Um, as the pomegranate is a very like it's part of Jewish symbolism. and each of the crowns are pointing, this way, and then this one is going that way, and on that one it has, I don't remember if it's like four or five crowns or just three. I don't think it's just three. I think it's like four or five. And the total number, was weird, the total number was like 22 of these crowns, of these pomegranates, even though the tetragrammaton, the numerical value of the tetragrammaton is 26. And, well, this you could kind of see as being the, okay, this one would be Yod Hey. This would be the Vav. And it's like, though I think I'm remembering it wrong, but it's like it goes up and then down, or up, over, then down. And this is kind of in reverse, I guess. More like it'd be like a U, like a squarish U, but it'd be the bottom two of the first line, and then the start on here would be starting that one. I don't know if that's is significant to anyone. That's just me rambling, probably rambling, I guess. Okay, so spirit guides, and then this is a good, the Two of Cups. This is a good confirmation for that. But it could also, the star could also be maybe needing to take a leap of faith. And this is usually, I see this as a lover's card. I mean, I know it's not the lovers, but it's a very reminiscent of the lover's card. But it can also mean business, making a deal, making a pact, um, communication with someone, maybe a spirit, maybe you're, I guess maybe you're working with the Goetia, or maybe you're thinking of working with Goetia or some other grimoire, or you're in a spiritual tradition and you're not sure if you want to go through go through with it. And this is confirming maybe the need for a relationship or a union of some kind. Maybe there's someone that you need to take a leap of faith with, a girl or guy you like. It doesn't even have to be like, that kind of relationship. It doesn't have to be like boyfriend girlfriend, boyfriend boyfriend, girlfriend girlfriend, or whatever you want to call it. It could be about maybe a parent, a sibling, healing, because um, this this thing up here is, technically it's not exact replica, but it's alchemical for one thing. It's basically a caduceus. Most people think the caduceus is a medical sign, but it's not. The rod of Asclepius is actually the medical sign. I mean, I know sometimes, I think sometimes actual places do use the caduceus, but the caduceus was wielded by the god Hermes. And Hermes, Mercury in Roman mythology, he was a psychopomp. He which means that he crossed between worlds. He would like ferry, I believe, like he would help the dead to pass over and so on. Um, this line at the top, this always remind, I like this card, but this always remind me of the demiurge from Gnosticism, which the way I always read, came across was that the demiurge was not a good guy per se. I mean, not evil. Like that was one of the things, is that he wasn't evil. He was a false god. He just he was confused. He didn't like know right from wrong. It's like a child that was never taught how to differentiate between right and wrong. And well, of course, like I said, union because it's um, as you can see, also the um, very DNA like spiral snakes, which is reminiscent of the caduceus. The Asclepius only is just a staff with one snake. It's representing intertwining, but of course it's a DNA, so again it could be a relative. You need to maybe you need to heal a relationship with a relative, with a sibling. Maybe they're a Leo, since I said lion. But the also the wings up here, so that's representative of air. Maybe an eagle, so an air sign, which I can't say I'm perfectly versed in remembering what the exact signs are when it comes to their elemental association. Um, I want to say Libra, or they got maybe okay. The lion can represent the sun, so maybe it's a maybe they are an air sign, and that their sun sign is that air sign, or somewhere in their chart they got Leo, they got an air sign, maybe Libra. Maybe because again, I mean, duality again because of two cups. Maybe they got a particular sign or something that is has a double placement. I don't know. I just thought Lilith for some reason. I know that plays into astrology, but okay. Moving on. So, five, six, seven of Pentacles. This one is another interesting because in the Thoth Tarot, it's like see how he's um he's clearly like a farm. He's clearly a farmer, and he's um well. I want to say. I always want to say like he's about to reap his rewards, re- reap the fruit of his rewards. Harvest time. He's about to harvest his well earned work. But it's more like he's meditating, like he's contemplating or he's just admiring that, like what he has accomplished. So maybe Leo pride. So maybe you need to take pride in your work. Which now the star card is looking like a work card. Maybe you multitask and you're just not being appreciated by your partner, by a relative that maybe you're taking care of, maybe a boss, maybe the boss or the something is a Leo sign or the air sign or something. Mercury, maybe Mercury is in their chart, maybe Mercury's in your chart. I don't know, maybe you guys, or one of you, maybe you are thinking, like, if you like the person and it is that kind of relationship, then you're thinking, oh, well, I'm such and such sign, they're such and such sign, we're not compatible, or something. I can't tell you what to think, but maybe don't think that way. Maybe just find the balance and go with the flow and be patient and take time and reap in the rewards. Enjoy all your hard work that you've been putting into it. Because that's what I take from this card, from the Seven of Pentacles. It's very much of a harvest card. But like any, I want to say, like any good farmer will tell you, you have to know when to pick the right, when you have to know when to pick the fruit or the vegetable or whatever. You need to know when to harvest because you need to harvest before it's too late, meaning before everything starts to rot or becomes damaged goods. Because I imagine, like over time, if you're growing pumpkins and you just leave them on the vine, and it goes well into frost season, like they're already fully ripe and everything. I don't know if I imagine pumpkins about have to ripen, right? I mean, like probably when they're like good to eat, they're probably ripe. But like if you just leave them on the vine and it goes well into fall time and or something, fall time and frost. I imagine that frost is gonna do some damage. So patient, maybe just patience. Don't harvest too early. The right time to harvest. And of course, with the star, can also water, so it could be like nourishing something. Again, like going back to the spirit guides, relationship with the spirit, with your ancestors, which relatives, um, needing to nourish that growth. You have planted a seed. When you plant a seed, whatever seed it is, it needs, well, it needs love, tender love and care for one thing, but it needs soil, it needs water, and it needs sunlight and warmth, which you usually will get from the sun, from sunlight, but you can't give it too much water, you can't give it too much sun. And I feel like I don't feel like that's what's going on here. I'll be honest. I don't feel like that's what's going on here per se, but maybe be careful where you step. Like I said, if you feel like you're incompatible because of your signs, just don't just assume, don't throw away that chance because the other person might be perfect for you. You might be perfect for them, or ironically, they might be perfect for you, but you might not be perfect for them, if that makes any sense. Just be careful, be cautious with whoever, whatever you're dealing with. And patience reaps rewards. Um, so now, the bottom card, the Sun card. Now, I've seen at least one person do this, where they'll read the bottom card. I think maybe two people, or maybe more. I'm not sure. I've watched a lot of tarot videos over the last couple years or so, and some people I've read suggest that the bottom card is to be the first card drawn or to be looked at, to be acknowledged, because it will represent the overall reading. And another one was that because it's on the bottom of the deck, it will represent that which you do not see coming. So, and I'm kind of that's originally how I read the card, and then I started kind of going with whichever one I feel it represented. I do feel like I kind of feel more like this is to represent your overall feeling, even though you might be depressed at the moment. Again, I don't know who it might be for. Man, yawning. Kind of curious invention. Um, okay, so I kind of started going in between reading it as both the overall energy to the reading, but also what you might not see coming. Now, first off, I talked about the plants and needing sunlight and nourishment. So, sunlight. You got your confirmation here. I mean, heck, you got sunlight here. You got water with the star, and you got Earth with the Seven of Pentacles, because Earth, the Pentacle is a sign of Earth element, much like Cup is the sign for water. So again, water. Just don't overwater. Don't overdo something. Don't get too clingy or anything. Um, now, okay, horse. So, the horse, maybe you're drawn to horses. Maybe the other person is. Maybe there'll be something important about horses. The sun, maybe you unexpectedly be seeing like those metal like things that go outside that like garden decorations like they're metal and it's shaped like a sun or a sun design or like in bathrooms they got those moon and sun imagery. Usually it's like blue and gold. And then going with the Goetia, not really the Goetia per se, but with like the Grimorium Verum. and so on. This little child always is now like always reminding me of Lucifer. Now, I mean, I know you. I don't know what your religious views are, what your views are, but take it as you will. Maybe it's just something to do about a child with a child, perhaps. Maybe a child's smile will make you happy, or will be the starting point of this whole journey. But maybe it's also could be also a sign that if you this is what you're in, you practice the occult and you're into the grimoire tradition and so on. Maybe you're feeling drawn to work with or thinking about working with Lucifer. And for clarity, people might not realize that an imagery for Lucifer is actually a child, like a cherub, as Lucifer has actually been um, given or associated with, as far as I know, at least three different, if not four different angelic um, choirs. I've heard that he's a seraphim. I've heard that he's a cherub. I've heard that he's a principality, which I believe that's associated with a biblical verse. I want to say it's from Isaiah. I'm not sure where. And he's often Satan, the devil, Lucifer, that great old dragon, is often associated with this verse where it's about the power or the spirits of the air, spirits of the earth, or spirit of the airs or something. Prince and I want to say it has something like principle in the word or something. I want to say so, that's why he gets associated with being a principality. Um, and lastly, it seems like I've also heard that he was also considered to be among the choir of thrones, but I'm not sure. And then, of course, the TV show Supernatural has Lucifer as being apparently one of the four main archangels. In traditional occultism, as far as I can tell, that is not accurate. The four archangels are typically Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. Sometimes it's pronounced Uriel. I A lot of times you find with angel names, there's a lot of similarities, just like ever so slight differences in the spelling. I don't know if Uriel and Oriel, which has which there's two different spellings for Oriel. If they're all any of them are the same or they're all separate angels. But those are typically the four archangels. But there are different variations of the seven archangels, which are associated, of course, with the seven classical planets, the 7 days of the week, um, any other sevens there are throughout occultism. I have been in this game for over 20 years, but I've also kind of taken a break in the last several times in the last few years, so I'm a little rusty on stuff. Um, so unexpected something might happen that you're not some unexpected happiness. Otherwise, be happy, be joyful, and keep that nourishment going. And I pray and hope that you find guidance. Everything works out for you. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. I hope I was able to help you. And with love and respect, I wish to see you again. And yes, I am to a certain degree Catholic, more full Catholic. But I am a devotee of Santa Muerte, of Santissima Muerte, La Nina Blanca, La Flaca, so on. She has many names. And you might have just saw me kind of do this. This was me making the sign of the cross. I tend to do it 3 times because of a past, my past. A religious philosophy that I started. It's kind of defunct at this point, but typically you do the cross in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or Latin, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. And I usually add that with 2 more things. Sanctus est nostrum Regina, sacred is our Queen, and Agape Omega Thelema. Which, if anyone's interested, I do a video on that. But that was part of this religious philosophy that I call Pentau, and it represented like the 3 principles: agape being love, Thelema or Omega, agape being love, Omega being goodwill, which I know gets a little confusing because Thelema means will, but the principle of Thelema was about spiritual progress. And Pentaph was essentially at its core about being a positive force in the world. There's just way too much negativity and hatred and ugliness and evil and wrongdoing and just so much bad. It needs to stop. It does. It needs to stop so freaking bad. So much of this crap needs to stop. And it's about trying to be a better person. It's also about me working on myself, trying to be more open. I am an introvert. And I admit, I did try and force myself to be less of an introvert and more of an extrovert. This was like back in 2009. And even in the last few years, because the last 3 years have been, man, so much has happened in these last 3 years. And I've tried to be more extroverted. And thanks to someone, someone that has been in my life that has caused me some issues, but has also been a great source of love. Because of her, I have made accomplishments that I never thought I could or would. I don't know. I'm a hermit, so that's me. That is very me. So maybe hermit. Look within yourself. Introspection. Solitude. Maybe you need to really think about things. Um, find the illumination that will illuminate your path. See, he has a lamp, and then 5, 6 of Pentacles. This is about victory. So don't let the haters get you down. You know, like, especially I hate to say it, the Taylor Swift song. I don't want to say, but haters are calling her. She's a good singer. She is. I'm not making fun of her. It's just a little feels a little embarrassing to actually say that. Okay, then knight, the knight of wands. Don't be impulsive. This is a very impulsive card. Someone that just charges in. Just victory is won swiftly but smartly. Well, sometimes victory is swift. Strategic strategy. So, no, I think the saying is know when to pull your punches. It's just that's always one of those terms where I learn what it means and then I forget, and then I look it up again, then I forget, and look it up again and forget. But like just know, read the room. You'll know when to do something, when you need to do something. You know. Okay. Since that's kind of another reading, sort of, so bonus reading, I guess. Now you got the Hanged Man. So I just said introspection with the Hermit. So sacrifice, um, being patient. So as I did say about being patient earlier when it came with the other cards for, let me pull an extra one there, the Hierophant. Um, okay, then you got death. So a change, maybe a change is necessary. I know this reading is kind of everywhere. Maybe there will be a death. Maybe so ancestors again. Maybe you have this relative that you've taken care of, something that will be dying. I hope not. It sucks when you lose a loved one. Um, the Hierophant. I pulled this card from the top of the deck, as but the Hangman and the Death card were on the bottom of the deck with the Sun card. Um, this was on the top, behind the um, 5, 6, 7 of Pentacles. The Hierophant, so authority, religious authority figure, tradition. Um, I'm trying to not keep this video going on forever. So again, faith, patience, introspection. Look, think about stuff before you act upon it, and think about who or what you're going to interact with. Because sometimes that girl that you like, it's not so much that you're thinking with your lower half as much as sometimes it's very easy for your heart to get fooled. Because sometimes it's nothing to do with your lower half, it's about getting fooled and getting played. So just be careful, be cautious, and remember you are victorious. Haters going to hate. They cannot take your joy away from you. Stand upright. Keep your chest high. Keep your chin high. And keep your chest out, puffed out, or whatever that saying is. No, just remember you're the Lord or Lady of your life, of your path. You make the decisions, you make your will, and you make it happen. So, again, thank you for your aid. Santa Muerte. I depart now with love and respect, and I hope to meet you again. I hope that I've helped. In the name of the Father, the Son,